809th edition of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com using promo code MMASGPN to get up to $1,000 in bonus credits.
Hi-yo, degenerinos, and welcome to episode 809 of the MMA Gambling Podcast and the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, dedicated to Stretch 444 on the old YouTube, who tipped us off to something we were wondering about a fighter that was not signed off DWCS. That was Void Vodkin, all that type of. Anyhow, you had to be there. This goes out to you, Stretch 444. I am one of your hosts. I would be the Ask Grinding Machine, Jeff Fox. The gentleman giggling beside me, well, on your screen would be Daniel Gabrielin. Oh, I forgot. You didn't. Oh, you did answer him already. I was just going to say you didn't answer about your hat, but you did. The Blue-Footed Boobies is the name of the team.
I thought you were talking about my hat today.
No,
this is the,
your hat today is what?
This is a good one. So the Rome Braves, the single A Rome team, used to be just the Rome Braves, and they went through a whole rebranding thing where you could send in your different ideas. I sent one in. It got ignored, which I'm not bummed out about.
What was yours? Let's hear.
I can't remember what it was, to be honest. I think it had something to do with gladiators, though.
Yeah.
I think it was gladiator themed. But this is even better. They're the Rome Emperors, and it's an Emperor Penguin.
Yep.
Which is perfect. And he's got his little sash on. He's got the little wreath on the top. Yeah, it's a good look. So shout out to Rome for rebranding properly. Much better than the double A Braves. Did you see what they did?
No.
They're the Clingstones. Do you know what a clingstone is?
No.
Clingstone is the type of peach.
Why are they in like Georgia? Oh, are they in Georgia?
Yeah, they're in northern Columbus, Georgia. But like, that's not a good nickname. Nobody likes
it's not.
Oh, that's terrible. I didn't even buy a hat. Terrible. That's how bad it was.
Oh wow, that's this is a minor league baseball hat podcast. It was for a while there, but I think we've seen all of your hats. So
I've got new ones coming in. I've got a new one. Yeah. No.
In the rotation.
No, I think I wore the Axolotl one. Never mind.
Have we talked about it though? I'm not sure.
I don't think we talked about the Axolotl, but I got an Axolotl hat. It's pretty sick.
Because Jong and other fans need to know what you're wearing on your head. Gumby begged, kicked and screamed to do KSW 105 because there's one bout on here he really wants to break down. He really wants to break down a fight between two of the world's most strongest men. So we're going to break it down. KSW, good promotion. They're not above doing freak show fights. So
I interviewed the owner one time too about his freak show fights.
I remember that.
And he unabashedly was like, yeah, if we can have some of the best fighters in the world fighting and a couple of freak show fights that bring people to come see the best fighters in the world fight, we're all about it. And I was like, you know what? That's actually brilliant.
It is. It worked for Pride. That and the Yakuza back and you helped as well, but it worked for Pride.
The UFC did it a little bit in like the early 2000s too.
Yep.
Like we got the James Toney, CM Punk, the James Toney fight I was at, Couture versus Toney.
Right. It was in Boston, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I bet it was a good one. That was a good fight for sure. Of all people, for him to like make his debut in MMA against.
Oh, I mean, Dana White knew exactly what he was doing. Exactly what he was doing.
Going to give the guy who's going to bring you, drag you down, and beat the hell out of you on the ground. All right, before we dive into KSW, the NBA playoffs are here. If you haven't noticed already, and SGPN is running another free contest. Pick every NBA playoff game against the spread. $1,000 first place prize, winner take all. Enter today at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/NBA playoffs. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/NBA playoffs. But hurry up because you're behind. If you haven't entered already, hey, you're behind a bunch of people, including myself in there who have been making picks the whole time. All right, KSW 105 is another Saturday event. So you're going to need at least UFC as well. You're going to need at least 4 screens to watch all your MMA on Saturday. The 3 regional events we just did here, and then UFC, which we're starting.
Are they early? Are they early UFC?
I'm not sure what. It's in Kansas City. Okay, it'll probably be a nighttime one if it's in Kansas City, right? You would think so.
Maybe.
I haven't looked. Maybe. Sometimes these things happen in MMA. They start at different times.
That's a sick main event, by the way. I'm all about Ian Gary versus Carlos Prates.
I have him for that. I haven't done my research yet. I don't know what side I'm falling on, which is good, which means it is a good
That's a
bout.
great fight. Yeah, and the odds are real close too. I think it's like negative 130 on Gary last I saw, and like plus 110 on Bratches. Yeah, it's a real close line.
6 p.m. start time for the UFC in Kansas City.
Okay, so you probably can get some of these regional events out of the way by the time.
Yeah, exactly. On. Yeah, you'll have your bank account will be bulging by the time it hits UFC time, and then you can start following my picks.
Bank accounts.
Big bulging bank account is the name of the episode, and then you can stop following Gumby's plays, and you can take my plays for the UFC, and you can keep
UFC on the year.
You are ahead of me slightly on the year. It's true, but like I said, these things do happen sometimes. Occasionally,
still in the black on UFC on the year.
Let me see. How is Gumby doing on the year? Yes, Gumby is $107, and I'm down 121, which is rare. Yeah, last year I stayed up the whole year, which is insane, which has never happened before. Now Gumby is trying to make it happen, which is, and it's not, you're hitting 60%, so it's not like you're hitting an outrageous amount. You just hit the right amount of dogs.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what I do.
That's what he does. He hits dogs. All right, I already told you about the contest, so I'm already giving away our money there. Let's break down the fight card now, shall we? Everyone scrubbed through all of that anyhow. KSW 105, Bartosiński versus Grzebyk. A lot of fun names for Jeff again today, because it's going down in Gliwice, Poland, Saturday, noon Eastern. So this is at noon Eastern Standard Time. Octagon is at noon Eastern, and Cage Warriors is at 1 p.m. Yeah, it'll probably run right up until the UFC, which it'll be perfect. It'll be perfect for you. So Saturday, as I said, pay-per-view off of their website, KSW. I think it's KSW.tv or something like that. For the main card, prelims are on YouTube, though, which is good, because then they're free. The pre-zero arena in Poland, if you want to go watch it. 9 bouts only on the card currently, so we're going to cover more than half of them, and then we'll give you some extra picks after the fact. I don't know if you think they'll pad out the card after the fact, or
I think there might even be more than 9 right now.
Okay.
If you go to their site, like 9 on Tapology right now.
Yep. All right, we're starting with the former UFC fighter, a former UFC heavyweight fighter, is in the first bout we're breaking out. So a pretty solid fight card. This is Szymon Bajor. Sure. He's from Poland. He's not the UFC fighter. Augusto Sakai would be the former UFC fighter from Brazil. 3 5-minute rounds, 265. Let's break it down. We have odds, ladies and gentlemen. You've seen them, right, Gumby?
Yeah, I've seen them all.
Okay. Bajor, 25-11, 10 knockouts, 10 submissions. He's a finisher. He's been knocked out 3 times, submitted 3 times. 3-3 in KSW, loss over his last 3, 5-2 over his last 7. He was the regional champ. He went 1-0 in the PFL. 2010 Pro MMA debut, plus 181. Sakai, 16-6-1 with 11 knockouts. He's been knocked out 4 times. 0-1 in KSW. He's only won 1 of his last 6. He did lose his last bout. He's not won since February 2023. He went 5-4 in the UFC. 1-0 in Contender Series. Who did he beat, Gumby? That's harder to remember.
I don't remember. That's a Brazilian Contender Series too, is it not?
Yep, it's probably someone who disappeared too. Marcos Conrado Jr. Ever heard of him?
No, I don't remember that guy at all.
No. There you go. That's obscurity. That means 4-1-1 in Bellator. 2011 Pro MMA debut. Based on their last weigh-ins, he was 28 pounds heavier than Bajor. He's 3 years younger. He's an inch taller. He's at minus 290.
Yeah. So first of all, I just want to say to people, if you're out there right now, the odds you're going to see us talk about on the show, which are released right now on an offshore book, don't play these. Wait for this
yes,
to come into other. Well, also just wait for him to come into other books too, because like the amount of juice on this one right now. I mean, you just said it. Plus 181 and minus 290. Where are you going to see $109 worth of juice on a fight like this? Like, just wait for it to come in and to come down a little bit, because you're going to find places with less juice than this. With that being said, I like Augusto Sakai. If you watch Bajor's other recent fights, he's like very overwhelmed on the feet, doesn't deal with pressure well. His defensive striking really leaves something to be desired. And like, look, Sakai could be still kicking around the top 10 in the UFC, right? Like, there's no reason this guy can't be a top 10 guy in the UFC. Like, he puts together a pretty good boxing game plan. He's pretty well-rounded. He's good in the clinch. Like, there's plenty of reasons he could be beating guys like Mick Parkin, right? Or having a good fight with Marcin Tybura. Like, there's no reason this guy could not be doing those types of things right now, right? Or barely losing to Sergey Spivak.
He beat Tybura actually.
Did he really?
The UFC. I think Tybura was one of he beat. Like he started off really hot in the UFC. I just saw.
I mean, I'll believe it. Like that's how good he is.
Arlovsky, Tybura, Ivanov. So he gradually got better people he's beating. So yeah.
Yeah. So like again, he's just a really, really solid heavyweight who's beaten a lot of good dudes in his career. And Bajor is like, first of all, looks like he could probably cut to 205. It's not a real deal heavyweight and deals with pressure terribly. So like, as long as Sakai just like dials it up a little bit and puts it on him, doesn't fight his kind of fight and fight slow, which he kind of did in the Andrei Arlovsky fight. So I kind of hope he doesn't do it again here. But as long as Sakai does that, he should piece him up. He should win pretty easily. I mean, he used to get finishes kind of frequently. I wouldn't be surprised if he got back to it now. So give me Augusto Sakai here.
All right. He's got Augusto Sakai out of the gate. All right. Before we dive into more plays, time to tell you about Edge Boost. Have you ever had your deposit blocked by your bank right before a big bet? Ever needed cash at 2 a.m. for another shot at the tables, but hit your ATM limit? Well, Edge Boost has your back. Edge Boost is the first ever bank account built for bettors. Edge Boost gives you fast, reliable access to your funds, making it easier to move your money when and where you need it without the delays that can come with traditional banks. For you high rollers, you can move up to $250,000 a day on your Edge Boost Visa debit card with unlimited withdrawals. This works 24/7 for instant deposits. Never wait for a wire to clear again. It gets better. Every time you deposit in a qualified gambling account, you earn cashback rewards up to 0.5%. All this for no usage fees and no minimum balance. Edge Boost is a debit account that makes it easy to get started with no credit checks, no minimum balance, and no usage fees. Simply verify your identity and you're ready to go. Finally, Edge Boost has a suite of responsible gambling tools to help you manage your bankroll and make informed decisions. What are you waiting for? Go to edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. That's edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. Sign up for Edge Boost today. And we're brought to you by mybookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on every sport, including the NBA playoffs, plus props for every game. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations, easy deposits, and lightning fast payouts using crypto. And of course, they have a plethora of MMA lines for you to bet on there. And when you do head over to check them out at mybookie.ag, use our promo code MMASGPN for 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. That's mybookie.ag, promo code MMASGPN. All right, we started off with a pick. Gumby was very sure of this pick for Mr. Sakai. Let's move on up the card, down the weight class. Madars Fleminas. He is from Latvian because he's the Latvian Express. We have discussed this gentleman before. He's fighting in a welterweight belt against Kacper Koziorzębski. This is a good one, Gumby. Koziorzębski. Guess where he's from, ladies and gentlemen? He's from Poland. Jeff butchered the name. I have no issue. I have no beef with you Polish people. I just can't say your names properly, apparently. Koziorzębski is Vior, which translates to valor or strength or something like that. Or VR, I guess it would be. WIOR. 11-6 with 4 knockouts. He's been knocked out 5 times, submitted once. So he's been finishing all his losses. He's got to get durable. 5-4 in KSW. He's won 2 straight. Gone 3-2 over his last 5, 4-4 over his last 8. So it gets worse the farther back. Used to fight at 155. 2015 Pro MMA debut. 7 years younger than Fleminas, which shouldn't be hard, but I'm making it hard. Plus 155. Fleminas is the Latvian Express. 13-6, 7 knockouts, 1 submission. He's been submitted 3 times. 1-2 in KSW. Loss is the pattern. 3-3 over his last 6, 6-6 over his last 12. So very similar to Koziorzębski's record. He's a regional champ. He's 2 inches of height, 2 inches of reach over his Polish opponent, minus 242.
I'm going to go dog here. I like Koziorzębski. And that's weird for me because I'm a big Madars Fleminas fan here. Like I've picked him a lot when he was fighting over in Cage Warriors. I think we cashed on him on this show one time as a pretty big dog. And I, sung his praises through our Discord. Actually, it might have been through our Slack back in the day.
Oh, that's real old school, call it.
And so like Fleminas is a guy who I've always kind of liked to watch. The reason I like him is because he's kind of like a European Keith Jardine, which is, fun to watch.
Yep.
Man, I hope people get that reference. Like, I hope enough of you know who
the old heads will.
Yeah, but he's like, he fights with a weird stance and he comes at you from weird angles and his punches could not look less fundamental. Like, you're not going to show up at a boxing gym and they're going to show you how to box like Keith Jardine. But like, it works for him for a really long time. And it's worked for Fleminas in a lot of his fights. But the difference here is that I just think Koziorzębski is just like way more technical. His hooks are tight. He throws some pretty nice kicks. He comes with he comes with a lot of leg kicks, but he also comes with like a fair amount of like pressure here, which I think is going to make it harder for Fleminas to come with those like funky angles that have like done so well for him, right? Because those funky angles come when you can come forward, right? Like you can cut weird angles and take weird steps and switch stances and lean forward at an absurd rate, right? Like Keith Jardines' chest looked like it was caved in, and like Fleminas like leans forward similarly to that. That's why I'm calling him the European Keith Jardine. But Koziorzębski, like I think can take advantage of all that. Like I think his hooks being as tight as they are going to expose that. I think his forward pressure is going to expose that, and I think you're going to see Fleminas like basically. I'm not going to say he's going to be like running in the fight, but he's going to have to be like circling away so much that it's going to be hard for him to get his offense going. And it's going to look bad on the judges' scorecard. So give me Koziorzębski here as a slight under. Well, I mean, again, this is the bad juice on these. Like he should be, if you're getting Fleminas at what, like -250, you said?
He is 242.
Yeah. How do you not get Koziorzębski at least +200? So like, just like wait until this post at a book that's like less juicy.
Yep. Less juicy would be a good title, but
wait until it's on
my bookie.
My bookie's got
they cover KSW, right?
Yeah, they usually have KSW and they don't juice up like the terrible offshores.
Yeah, they don't have to. That's why. All right, so that is another winning pick in the books for us here. More Polish fighters. Oh, 2 Polish fighters going against each other. Fun. One of them we've said his name numerous times, and Gumby has led me through it. So let's see if I can nail it today. This is a welterweight bout. Igor Michaliszyn. The Coliseum versus Artur Szczepaniak. See, that's the one.
Look at you.
Look at this guy. They're Polish fighters. Not surprisingly, I got it right. 3 5-in rounds, 170. Szczepaniak is King Szczepaniak. That's how I know his name. I respect the throne, apparently. The throne of Poland. He's 12-3, 7 knockouts, 3 submissions. He's been knocked out twice, submitted once, so he owes his rounds by my math. 5-2 in KSW. He's won 2 straight and 3 of 5. All of those fights have gone via finish. So the 3 wins, the 2 losses, all via finish. +139. Michaliszyn, 12-3, 4 knockouts, 3 submissions. He's been knocked out once, submitted once. He's 4-1 in KSW. He's won 2 straight and 7 of 8. He's fed at 185 and 155. 2015 pro MMA debut. An inch height, 2 inches reach over. Szczepaniak -214.
I'm going to go underdog 2 in a row.
All right.
I like Artur Szczepaniak here. And the main reason is I like the way he attacks forward. He's one of those guys who puts together. Well, first of all, his kicks are good too. He throws a kick to the body and a kick to the head, both equally powerful and equally sharp. But I like the way he sprints forward. He's one of those guys who puts together combinations as he's moving forward, where he switches stances, and really pours it on people. And I think that's a big problem for Michaliszyn, who is a guy who like lives off of like basically keeping people off of him with like flicking kicks and like, likes throwing a oblique kick or like one of those like gnarly kicks to the knees. Like he likes using that to like force range. But when somebody is fighting a guy who really likes range and wants to fight from range and blitzes them, a lot of times they like don't have a good answer for that. And I kind of expect that to be the case here for Michaliszyn. I don't know that he's going to have an answer for Szczepaniak closing the distance. And like Szczepaniak's had a little bit of trouble with takedowns in the past. He gets up pretty quick, but he's had a little bit of trouble with takedowns. But like that's equally as true with Michaliszyn. Like he also isn't particularly good when it comes to getting taken down. He gets up quick similarly, but like luckily for Szczepaniak here, I think he's just going to get the stand-up fight that he kind of wants. I don't see either of these two trying to drag it to the ground. Michaliszyn is a guy who's got like some nice guillotines and some nice chokes, basically front chokes when somebody shoots in on him. But Szczepaniak is just going to blitz and throw hands instead. So like that good piece of Igor's game is not even going to come into play. So I'll take Szczepaniak here at slight dog money.
All right, Szczepaniak, lock in the king. And we are to the fight. This one's going to take,
I was so happy to get to break this down.
Exactly.
I'm so
I guess
glad.
we have time before the next ad read.
It's going to take me 30 seconds. Yeah.
Mariusz Pudzianowski from Poland versus Eddie Hall from England. 3 5-minute rounds. It's open weight, I believe, right? As far
is
as
it open weight? I wrote heavyweight
so.
on the little bumper underneath.
Yeah, it does say heavyweight on the, but I think when I looked it up, I think it said it was going to be open weight.
I'm a little surprised Eddie Hall could make 265 if that's the case.
Oh yeah, he's like
that dude looks like he weighs 350. Yeah.
Yep. The deadlift champion and a whole bunch of other things. So that would be the beast, Eddie Hall, to you. Oh, no, in MMA.
As championships on his mantle, the deadlift championship.
Yes. The mantles, those trophies are probably very heavy as well. So hopefully it's a very sturdy mantle. The beast is 0-0 in MMA, 0-1 in exhibition boxing. He lost to that guy who was in Game of Thrones, is who he lost to in exhibition boxing, who also is a world's strongest
Thorbjorn.
Yes.
Thorbjorn Olsen? Or
yes.
Thorbjorn.
Yes. Thor. Just call him Thor. Yes.
Something like
he
that.
Lost to Thor. Yeah. He's Hall is 11 years younger than Pudzianowski, 2 inches taller, 2 inches of reach. Based off their weigh-ins, because Pudzianowski had to be 263 or 4 or whatever for weigh-ins. He's 79 pounds heavier, plus 181. Pudzian, you can call him. Pudzianowski was a freak show, but he has lasted 27 bouts in MMA. So maybe he wasn't really a freak show after all. 17-9 with 1 no contest. 9 knockouts, 3 submissions. He's been knocked out 4 times, submitted 5 times. So he's been finishing all his losses. 17-8 and 1 no contest in KSW. He's lost 2 straight. Before that, he won 5 straight. All of those were TKOs, the wins and the losses. He's not fought since June 2023. He last won a bout in May 2022. 2009 pro MMA debut, minus 290. There's
he was
again for you.
He was a freak show in 2009, right? Like we were all like, that's dumb as hell. We were also like, I don't know if you were, but I was, because I was sitting in college being like, why doesn't the UFC sign him? Because I was like, I watched the World's Strongest Man competitions on Spike
me
TV.
too, of course.
Who didn't? They were always great, and Pudzianowski was always dominating those things, picking up those really weird boulders and putting them on those towers. And I loved it. It was so much fun to watch. And you were like, this guy's a freak show. I can't believe he's going to MMA. And then he like actually learned how to fight.
Yep.
Like he is really, and I disparaged his move to MMA probably more than anybody else out there. He really figured it out. This guy is absolutely rounded out his game. And is he perfect everywhere? No, he's not the heavyweight champion of the world. He's not the best heavyweight fighter in the world. He's not going to beat Phil DeFries here in KSW, but he's a pretty damn good fighter considering. He's got figured out how to work his hands. He's figured out how to round out his cardio so it's not pathetic. He's got a little bit of takedown game in there if he really needs it. Like, he's a real fighter. Eddie Hall's never really fought before, except for that time he fought those 2 twin brothers who I think combined weighs. Yeah, he fought in like, I don't know, was it Fight Circus or was it?
It might have been Fight Circus.
It was something similar to that, if not Fight Circus, where they had him.
Because there's 2 guys that always, the 2 brothers always fight.
They had him fight like a couple of like a pair of twin brothers who both weighed 150, so they combined weighed 300, and he like power bombed one, and the other one quit in fear. And so like
he really did power bomb.
Yeah, he really did. Like it was like full on Dave Bautista power bombed him, and like that's not real. It's not real fighting, and it doesn't work against somebody your size. So of course I'm taking Maurice Pudzianowski. I'm taking the guy who's actually learned how to fight and knows what he's doing in there versus the guy who just like power bombed a small person. He wasn't even that small. Like 160 is like still normal, pretty. Yeah, it's a normal. I mean, it's not. It's much smaller than me and you, but like it's still like a pretty. Yeah, he's still a pretty big guy. But like Pudzianowski is in there with good guys all the time, and he's beating them up all the time. And like, I'll take Pudzianowski, the real fighter here against the strongman.
What's with these odds, though? You think they'd be
290? I thought this was going to be negative 900, negative
not be.
I still think it should be.
What's the deal, man? What's the deal?
I mean, maybe people saw him powerbomb that.
He's not going to powerbomb Pudzianowski. Pudzianowski might have lost a whole bunch of weight, but he's not going to powerbomb him.
Hey, if he powerbombs Pudzianowski,
amazing.
I think you're going to have to eat crow on the next episode after that. If he powerbombs him.
I'm vegan, but I'll have to eat crow regardless. That would be amazing. And then you'd say, sign this man to the UFC.
Yeah.
You know you're going to watch this, Gumby. You know you're going to watch it.
I'm going to be mad about it after.
It should be sloppy. All right, before we get to our main event, a legit main event, let me tell you about Underdog. It's time for Gumby's bonus Underdog pick'em plays. Underdog pick'em, you can play any sport and win up to 100 times your money. What are we playing today?
I'm going back to my Braves because they're hot right now. They've won 3 in a row. They've won 4 of 6. And we are playing the Cardinals on Tuesday. Andrew Palante on the hill. And our new leadoff hitter, Alex Verdugo, who has both been hot and has good history against Andrew Palante, is going to be continuing that streak here. I'm going to take his higher than on his hits, runs, and RBIs. I'm going to guess that's going to be projected at 1.5, and I think he's going to come in with at least 2. So give me the higher than on Alex Verdugo's hits, runs, and RBIs.
No, the Braves aren't in Toronto anymore. They're winning games again.
They won 1 of 2 or 1 of 3 there.
Yep. Sign up with our code MMASGPN over at underdogfantasy.com, and you can claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. So underdogfantasy.com, promo code MMASGPN. And Rhythm is your home for AI-backed picks and props. Rhythm is now live for Major League Baseball. Plus, they got models for NBA and golf. Picks so good it feels like cheating. Building your own model is simple and easy. They have Hello Herford models. Damn right they do. They also have some amazing deals going on right now. 25% off a monthly subscription with promo code SGPN25 and 50% off an annual subscription with promo code SGPN50. That's Rhythm, RITHMM, promo code SGPN25 and SGPN50. All right, main event time. It's for some gold, or I think their belts are silver. Yeah, they're more silverish, but regardless. KSW Welterweight Championship. The champion, Adrian Bartosiński from Poland versus another Polish fighter, and Andrzej Grzebyk. We've done this guy before, I think. Grzebyk. Andrzej Grzebyk. 3 5-minute rounds, 170 for the 5 5-minute rounds, excuse me. It's championship belt for the gold. All right, double champ is the challenger, which is confusing, right? Grzebyk, double champ, 22-6, 13 knockouts, 3 submissions. He's been knocked out 3 times, submitted once. 6-3 in KSW. He's won 4 straight, and before that, he had lost 2 straight. TKO win in his last bout. He's not lost since July 2022. He did. This is a rematch. He didn't catch me here, Gumby. TKO lost to Bartosiński back in February 2022. He has multiple regional championships on his
mantle.
Correct. Get this shirt right here at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. He better have multiple regional championships, or his nickname would be a lie. He's fed at 185, 2012 pro MMA debut, an inch of height, 4 inches of reach over Bartosiński, who you can call Bartos, 16-1, 11 knockouts, 2 submissions. He's been submitted once, 9-1 in KSW, and the champion. 2 successful defenses under his belt already. He did lose via submission in his last bout, though. He went up a weight class. Yes, he went up to 185. And surprisingly lost Mama Kaladev, right? Kaladev?
Yeah, we cashed big on that one. Kaladev is a nice dog.
Yeah. It was a surprise for everyone else except for Gumby.
Except for me.
Yep. All right, so that was his last bout. He's bouncing back here. His normal weight class down at 170. 5 years younger than the challenger, minus 250.
Man, minus 250, another gift, right? It is like a guy who's already knocked you out and is the champ and has been fighting really well, with the exception of going up a weight and kind of getting fooled up there. I don't know what he's doing at negative 250, but I'm all in on Bartosiński. If you watch Grzebyk, his biggest issue is that when he throws, he is really reliant on leaning out of range instead of using his legs to get himself out of range. You know, I hate a leaner. And the other thing is he's got low hands too. Like it's not just that he leans, but it's also that he leans and is like a low-handed fighter anyway. Yeah. And then on top of that too, so he does have really good power, which comes sort of from those low hands, but it means he trusts himself way too much to get out of range with just a slight lean. And obviously it cost him before against Bartosiński, who knocked him out. And Bartosiński, much faster, much better work on the feet. And the thing I like the best about Bartosiński, because I was actually watching back his fight with Szczepaniak, who he knocked out Szczepaniak as well. But in that fight, it's the counter power that's so impressive from him. It's when it's opposed and doesn't land the way they want to, even if they land partially, but doesn't land the way they want to. And Bartosiński comes back with a shot, you're done. He's going to put you away. And that's what he did to Szczepaniak. And like with Grzebyk being a guy who leans too much, and like that's, you know, he enters range and then he like, oh, I'll just, you know, duck my head this way a little bit. Like that's begging him to get knocked out by Bartosiński. So here, and the negative 250. Hey, parlay him with Pudzianowski and Augusto Sakai right now. That's a great looking parlay if you can get those three together at their current prices.
All right. Gummy's giving you parlays now too. Fantastic. All right, let's give you a recap, but don't you go away yet because we got more plays for you. Bartosiński, he's in on him. Pudzianowski, he is in on. Szczepaniak, he is in on. Koziorzębski, he is in on. And Sakai, he is in on. All right, lightning round. Zap, bang, boom, pow. Let her rip.
Yeah, so the first one I'm going to take is Ibrahim Chuzagayev. He's a guy who I've always kind of liked in terms of his ability to drag a fight to the ground and make it nasty. And he's only betting off at negative 129 right now, which is kind of shocking to me. He's tough as hell in there. So he's one of my lightning round picks. And then the other one I'm going to take, brand new to the MMA world, but her name is Laura Grzebyk or Grisby. There's no vowels in her name. I'm just going to say that.
Yep.
It's Grzzyb. And that's terrible for the American tongue to try to say. But she's an 11-0 boxer, absolutely electric on the feet. And they've given her a kickboxer in her first bout. So they're not giving her somebody who's a danger to take her down. And I've been really impressed with how her hands look in general. So I'm going to take Laura Grzebyk and Ibrahim Chuzagayev as my two lightning round.
It's not spelled with the psi before her name. Just so you know, her middle name isn't.
Yeah, that's. It's, you know, I'm usually good with the Polish names, but when they have no vowels to go with whatsoever,
it's hard to figure
really
out what they want
me
you to
up.
say.
Yeah, I don't know what to do there.
All right, you're all set now for KSW. You're all set for actually all the regional events that are happening that are worth betting on this coming weekend. All right.
Except for tough enough this weekend too. Right. And if you want some tough enough picks, hit me up in the Discord.
Hit us up in Discord, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. You can always hit us up on YouTube as well in the comments at MMA Gambling Podcast, as long as you subscribe first. Twitter, SGPN MMA. That's our account that Gumby runs for us. He runs his own at Gumby Vreeland. I'm at Jeff Fox Writer. Same as on Instagram for me, Jeff Fox Writer. Check out my Substack. Enter my free UFC Pick'em contest at moneymma.substack.com. Gummy's got a Top Turtle MMA podcast with interesting people in the MMA sphere on it. Who is on it this week?
Evan Elder and John Paul Lesbonoyani.
There you go. Easy for you to say. So check that out, Top Turtle, wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, sportsgamblingpodcast.com, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. So you can get a shirt like this, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. And UFC is back. So we are back tomorrow to cover some more UFC. I think it's your turn, Gumby, to bid the people farewell.
No, that's your turn.
Really? You're sure about that? Okay.
I called you Blasto Seppo last
It's true. You did. That was a good one. We'll be back tomorrow. It'll be the Canadian Express, Jeff Fox, and the Beast, Gumby Vreeland. We'll talk to you then.